All right, so get into our next retro review. It is going to be for Rush Hour. Rush Hour is a movie starring Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
Sorry, dude. I'm not understanding you. I can't understand you.
Nick, do you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
And this movie debuted all the way back in 1998. And it was directed by Brett Ratner. One of the classics in the buddy cop genre. That was kind of coming up. You had, of course, Beverly Hills Cop. That was a big one. 48 Hours. Bad Boys. This usually Rush Hour mostly gets compared to like Bad Boys as far as quality because both of those were big at the time.
I wonder why.
Yeah. So those were pretty big at the time. And there were 3 Rush Hour movies. And so later on, it had 2 sequels. And then we're going to talk about some more stuff, possibly with Bad Boys and everything. But and then people have been craving. People, talked about maybe wanting a 4th movie of Rush Hour because people are such big fans of it. People generally, some people, discussing it, talking about it. Some people, like all 3 of the Rush Hour movies. I just kind of like 1 and 2. I think 1 and 2 are pretty decent. 3, I'm not too big of a fan of. I don't know. How do you guys feel about 2 and 3 when it comes to the Rush Hour movies?
Yeah,
I'm saying I'm right there with you.
1 and 2 are bona fide classics. 3,
absolutely.
I love the entire story between Lee and his rival in that film. Everything else, garbage, trash.
Hated it.
Yeah. I haven't seen it at the 3rd one in a long time. I haven't actually seen this first one in a long time, so it was nice kind of going back, just like with Scooby-Doo the movie, like seeing a movie that, I'm not that familiar with anymore or just haven't seen. I mean, I've seen Rush Hour before, but it's been such a long time. And usually, doing reviewing stuff, you just, don't have a lot of time to go back and look at stuff that you really do love and appreciate. So this was nice. And this was definitely a time capsule here because, I always laugh at the argument that people make of, you can't, you couldn't make this today. People say that about Blazing Saddles. People say that about Tropic Thunder. But it usually people miss the point of why those movies are funny. I mean, the point of Tropic Thunder is that it's satirical and it's, it's making fun of Hollywood.
It's meant to be just poking fun at all of these method actors that put themselves throughout these ridiculous conditions in order to think that they're acting better.
Yeah. And things like Blazing Saddles, it's again, it's satirical. It's meant to make fun of the bad guys. You know what I mean? Of the racist and all the people in that movie. Here. No, it's just kind of just racist jokes, really. I mean, that's really. I don't think there's really anything really satirical about it.
Everybody.
I mean, there's a scene where Chris Tucker's character, he's going into a shop and he asks Lee, who's Jackie Chan's, like, "Do you want a cup of noodles?" Don't think there's anything too satirical about that. And you have Chris Tucker, who's Carter in this movie. That's his kind of character's name.
Well, I'd be upset about that, except it's never not funny to me.
Yeah, it's great. Like,
but Chris Tucker, just the way he delivers it, it just kind of feels like that playful ribbing where I don't feel offended by it.
He says something about rice-a-roni at one point. I'm like, it's not even Asian.
I mean, and this movie, it follows all the tropes that you see in a buddy cop movie. Like the beginning of this movie opens up, you see kind of Chris Tucker, and you see him, he's the lone wolf cop. He does things by himself. You see him trying to do a sting operation, basically by himself, and fucking it up. And who's that actor that he's doing the sting operation on? Like he's the, who's that guy? Because he's related.
Chris Penn.
Chris Penn, right? Who's the brother of Sean Penn? There, and You see him kind of doing that, and then when he comes back to the office, he's getting chewed out by his boss, his superior, his captain, and then that makes him, that forces his captain to put him on a crap assignment. But again, we've all seen this before of the detective who does things by himself. He's like, I don't even like working with a partner. How many times have we heard that in one of these type of things before?
Yeah.
And then
I
he's
don't need
forced
no
to
partner.
he's forced to work with a partner in this movie, obviously, because his whole mission is just to babysit Jackie Chan's character, who he comes to America because a Chinese, was a politician, I believe it is, Chinese politician, daughter gets kidnapped.
He was, he's the Zima who plays a consul Solon Han. He's a Hong Kong diplomat who moves to Los Angeles right at the end of British rule in Hong Kong.
So his daughter ends up getting kidnapped. He's got a close Lee's character, got a close relationship with his daughter, and who, as an actor, we talked about very recently, Ken Leung, who we just saw in Missing, and he was just in the M. Night Shyamalan movie Old, who I forgot he was also in this movie. I forgot that he popped up.
Wait, that was him?
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, way back when, 1998. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was him. So yeah, he also was a mutant in X-Men 3. He was also the mutant guy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the one with
Really?
the one with the spikes that come out of his body and everything like that. Like he was that guy too.
Hey, he was in Force Awakens too.
Oh really? Was he?
Yeah, he was one of the Resistance people. He had like 2 or 3 lines.
Oh yeah, he did. Okay, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when basically everybody in Hollywood, they was like, "Hey, you want to come in for a cameo real quick? It's a Star Wars movie. Why not? Yeah, sure."
Star Wars? Yeah, come on.
Yeah, Tom Hardy, you want to be a stormtrooper for like 5 seconds? Yeah, come on in. Sure, why not? Because that was in the Last Jedi, I think, where he was in Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Craig was in Force Awakens.
yeah. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, he's kind of had a long career, and the guy that plays the person at the consulate, Chinese consulate, you always see him and stuff. Anytime there's like an Asian role in something, you usually see this guy. You basically
It's either Sima or it's Ken Watanabe, but they're like the go-tos when you want an Asian role in some bullshit with some gravitas.
Yeah.
We need to act.
And then the other prominent Asian actor that you'll probably see is the guy who voiced what's his name, the one from Kung Fu Panda. What's that actor?
James motherfucking Hong.
Yeah,
That's right.
you'll usually see them.
That's
So
right.
those three actors, they stay in heavy rotation for Hollywood for Asian. If you need probably older Asian guy, they stay in rotation for that. So yeah, so he kind of comes on. He wants to bring him, but obviously the daughter being kidnapped, the FBI gets involved. They're like, well, we don't want this other outside guy coming in. We can handle it. So they're like, okay, let's just pass him off to somebody else, the lead character. Let's just kind of keep him busy so we can focus on the daughter here. And that's how you kind of get the team up between Chris Tucker and then Jackie Chan. And like I said, I mean, they got great chemistry. I mean, again, with the core with any buddy cop movie is you need two people who have great chemistry, and they do. Much like what we talked about with Scooby Doo the movie. If you don't have a great cast working together, I mean, I guess this goes for a lot of movies, but particularly a movie where it involves people really working together, and especially with this type of formula, you really need people to really work together very well. And I think they do. Early on, when you see them, I mean, obviously, that classic line that Nick and Jamarco just referenced with what I mean, with that classic line, just their whole back and forth is really great, and really sells it. How did you all feel about Rush Hour here?
Even rewatching it after I've seen this movie countless, because when I was a kid and I owned the VHS of this. Remember, that was still a thing back in the day. But
Take notes,
also, this was like one of the common things that would always be playing on cable, especially on like TBS or TNT back in the day.
Absolutely.
And those channels were just always on when I was a kid. So I'd probably seen this movie like 100 times since I was a child. And I haven't for a long time, and just rewatching it now, you're right. This movie is made or broken by the chemistry between Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. And besides that, the actual like investigation, it's fascinating. You get actors like Zima who always brings some gravitas to this role, to a part like this. Even small bits with Chris Penn and and John Hawkes, who get a lot to do with their very little small parts. These are so much more fun than I remember.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Chris Tucker
Same.
is in rare form in this movie. Like, there's a scene where they go to, because he has to go get some more information. He goes to Sean Penn. He's in jail, and then at the end of it, Sean Penn, he gave them the information they wanted.
Chris
He,
Penn.
yeah, I'm sorry, Chris Penn. I'm sorry, Chris Penn gave him the information he wanted. And then at the end of it, he said, "Okay, hey man, I'll get your fat ass some cupcakes." It's like, man, that was unnecessary. Now, why you even say that, man?
Just so good.
He's a fucking asshole in this, but
Just
he's always,
amazing delivery.
but he's
There's
always
so many
funny.
lines.
Is the thing.
Yeah, it's
I
just
was laughing earlier when I was watching it. I forgot what he was like when he was doing the sting operation. He's like, "Man, put that gun away, man. How many people you can kill this year?" Just like comments.
like,
See,
gee.
see, that's the one. That's the one thing I don't believe watching it in 2023. That the second that they saw Chris Tucker, those cops wouldn't have just started blasting.
Yeah, it's LA, so
It's LAPD.
Yeah.
Exactly. What? But yeah, to back up Nick, yeah, this was like a bona fide. To this day, it still is like one of my favorite comfort movies just to throw on. Like I was just throwing it on, and I'm just like, you just get sucked in. I'm like, oh man, I'm having fun, and just the chemistry between Chris Tucker and Jackie. Like Chris Tucker, like you said, I think this was like his magnum opus because like he was a prominent force in my household. Friday was on.
Yeah,
Fifth Element was on.
Yeah, Friday
So,
was
like,
always on. His
yeah.
specials were always on. But
Yeah,
this
stand-ups.
is probably the best he's ever been in a film, and this is even counting his later stuff, like something like Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah, if you wanted to know who Chris Tucker is, it's Rush Hour. This is like the performance of Chris Tucker's career.
Yeah.
So I have a ball every time I watch it. Just them going back and forth, the dancing, the fighting, just the clipping. It's just
Hey,
a fun movie,
hey,
man.
this movie originated a meme. This is the one. It's like, I don't want no trouble, and then
Yes.
proceeds to beat the shit out of everybody in the room.
Jackie, yeah, we got to get into Jackie Chan because just like I think I was saying this to Nick yesterday. It's just like both these movies kind of put Chris and Jackie on the map because Chris Tucker already had Friday and Fifth Element, but
Fifth,
made him hit.
Chris Tucker had Friday and Fifth Element, but Jackie, prior to this movie, he wasn't really well known in the United States.
Right.
He was well known in cult circles off of stuff like Police Story and stuff like Rumble in the Bronx, which is what got Jackie Chan the role after Brett Ratner saw that movie. And this is really the moment where Jackie Chan became the hugest international star at the time.
And you know what's beautiful about this is like this movie doesn't waste any of their talents. Because any other director would have been like, all right, we're going to focus on Jackie Chan fighting and enough of the comedy. Like, both of it is just perfectly balanced. Like, you get the essence of both of these actors. Like, Jackie Chan's vintage slapstick style.
He's a violent Buster Keaton.
Yes.
That's essentially what he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of amazing. I'm gonna play the clip here of when they first kind of meet each other here, which I think is obviously I think that's pretty kind of iconic here. So I'm gonna pull up that clip that everybody kind of knows here.
You speak any English? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I cannot believe this shit. First I get a bullshit assignment, now Mr. Rice-A-Roni.
See, that was he called him Mr. Rice-A-Roni. Like, what the fuck is even that? Like, what?
That's not even an Asian thing.
What the fuck?
That's not even a specifically Asian joke.
Like,
Just
what?
I mean,
time order.
it's kind of offends me, but at the same time, I'm still laughing.
Jesus. Yeah, I'd be like, oh well, you got me there.
Let me finish
You
this
might be
clip.
laughing too hard to be offending.
Put your bag in the back. No. You put your own shit in the back. I'm not a sky cap. I'm FBI, you understand? The hell you think this is?
Oh, hold on. Maybe I skipped over it a little bit. Yeah. Oh, man.
The hell you think this is?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just like unnecessary kind of things like that. That just kind of that just really just kind of got me there. Like Mr. Rice Aroni, like again, like that was unnecessary. And then one of I think another great scene here is the bar scene. I think that's absolutely fantastic. That scene is absolutely fantastic because, like Jamarco was mentioning, like it blended both their styles really well. So it's a chance to showcase Jackie Chan and his fighting ability, and also his comedic ability, and it gets to showcase Chris Tucker and what he does best. And you also have a black actor that anytime there's a large predominantly black cast, you're gonna see Clifton Powell. It's always Clifton Powell's. He's gonna.
Yeah.
He's in
Everyone.
Like every movie, every predominantly, if there's a lot of black people in it, a scene with you're gonna have
black movie. Clifton Powell's in it.
Clifton Powell is in it. You know what I mean? He's gonna be
not in Black Panther. How do you miss that call?
True. Yeah. You know what I mean? He should have had some role somewhere there.
Should have been full pinky gear.
Shut
up.
Yeah.
But the way he's just kind of going around like Chris Tucker to everybody in the bar, he's harassing the guy who's smoking weed. Call it this is cigar weed. Is like what?
You gotta have glaucoma.
What? This is a cigarette. No, it's a cigarette. Cigarette. That's cigar weed.
Disapprove.
Let me see if I pull up that clip there. But do you have any kind of favorite moments here, Jamarco, of Rush Hour here?
I mean, there's just so many. I mean, a lot of it is just with just Chris Tucker and Jackie bonding, just them dancing to war, and
yes, that entire scene is golden.
That's
when even I was talking about this with you, Jamarco, where you in all of these movies you kind of have this odd couple setup where initially these two guys can't stand each other, but at that moment is when they kind of start to bond and when you start to feel like, yeah, we're cool now.
Yeah, you the homie now. Here, eat some of this camel's hump.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
But but some of my favorite things are just like with Jackie and his physical comedy. Like there's a bit at the end of the big climactic final act where he's trying to protect this vase from falling, and they just ends up getting shot. That's great. And like, if you're Jackie Chan, you got handcuffed to a steering wheel. What do? Well, you just rip off the damn steering wheel and go have your business. Just little things like that. That with Jackie Chan's character, he's just so determined to help find Su Yan and just Chris Tucker, especially Chris Tucker's chemistry with Philip Baker Hall and Elizabeth Pena, the other LAPD cops. They just have a great big banter. Just the whole cast, they just have so much fun together. The third act, I mean, come on, when Su Yan goes, push the goddamn button. You heard what she said.
Let's see. I got the bar scene here. Let me pull this up real quick because I love a lot of this stuff.
I think when people say that this is a movie that can't be made today, just because you have Jackie Chan dropping the N-word, but even then, it's played to be like a joke.
Let me see here. It's got this.
And I think that's the scene that comes to mind when people say you can't make Rush Hour today. Which
you got a prescription for this?
Yeah, we tried it with a show and nobody liked it.
Where's that?
Yeah, but that was because it was CBS, and
Oh God, yeah.
Well, I should take your ass to jail. You know that?
For what?
For what? Look at this.
That's just not my cigarette.
This cigar weed.
Jeez, cigar weed. That is just. And then there's another scene where you see him. So he does a thing with.
My favorite one. My absolute favorite moment. It's in the same bar scene where he's trying to like talk tough to like the guys in the back, and he's like acting tough in front of Jackie Chan. And the second he leaves the room, hey man, why don't you come to church Sunday?
Oh yeah. Yo,
No, the only reason I don't bust you is because you're my cousin.
Hey, get your hand off this coat. Your mama bought me this.
Uh,
Christmas.
I was going to talk about another line I liked at the kind of the very end of it, where he makes fun of this again, another fat guy here. He says a line to him that I died at as well. This was pretty good. Hold on, let me see if I can play this too.
I'm gonna see you Thanksgiving, all right? Appreciate it.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking
Hey,
about.
hey! It's your big happy meal ass, so get on in the corner. There's the law around here. Next time I come in here, y'all better clean this shit up and brush your teeth. Let's go.
And he said, "Get your big Happy Meal eating ass over there." Like again, it's just, like
I
no.
gotta know how much of this was on paper and how much was Chris Tucker like, all right, I'm winging it.
Let's be honest. Brett Ratner is not one of the great directors of the world. He just isn't. And he kind of hit lightning in a bottle with just the chemistry of these two people.
Oh man, you didn't like Tower Heist?
Fuck off.
I mean, yeah. I mean, probably some of it was, just kind of ad lib. And again, sometimes you see movies where people riff and ad lib, and it just doesn't work out. And because you see it just goes on way too long, and they don't know when to cut. Here, I think it's perfectly balanced where you kind of see it, and you just can't really tell the difference all that much. And I think that's what kind of makes it so special, and everything like that. And Jackie Chan, I mean, like you said, this was, really, really helped him burst out into the scene, and especially to a more bigger, wider audience, as you can see. And you do have, great bits with them. Like there's the moment where they're trying to go and trying to infiltrate a place, and he says, "Okay, you just use my ID." And then the one thing he says when Jackie Chan's character looks at the ID and you see the picture of him, he's like, "I don't think this is gonna work. I'm not 6'1". It's like, I mean, just those moments and those delivery bits, I think, just work so well, and do such a fantastic job. What's some of kind of other things that you kind of really liked about Nick that you kind of love about Rush Hour?
Well, beyond just this massive coming out party for Jackie Chan, at least with Western audiences, because he was already a big star in China. He'd worked with Sammo Hung countless times, and was one of the cult favorites in terms of martial arts cinema when that was really blowing up in the States. Wasn't really well known to a big Western audience. A couple of his movies came out on VHS here. They did okay, but he just wasn't the star that he was. And here you get this kind of perfect storm of circumstances in casting him alongside Chris Tucker and them having this incredible chemistry that still stands the test of time and led to one of the few good comedy sequels with Rush Hour 2.
Yeah.
On top of that, even with all of the comedy stuff, you still get genuine moments of heartfulness when you get scenes of Tucker and Chan actually like stop riffing for a minute and let these two actually act together. And there's some powerful stuff when they get to act. Like the entire scene where Lee is going on the plane back to Hong Kong and Carter just breaks down how his father died. That was actually very powerful stuff and something that I kind of forgot from subsequent rewatches of this movie.
Same here. Yeah, you realize these two have a lot more in common than just being cops. These guys have gone through similar moments of trauma, especially Lee. When you get to the sequel, this guy is such an enigma, and
Yeah, and especially which one of the few good things about the third movie where you get Hiroyuki Sanada as his.
Oh, you cut out there. What'd you say, Nick?
Oh, and it's one of the few good things about Rush Hour 3 when you get Hiroyuki Sanada as his adopted brother.
Oh,
the very few good things.
yeah. And then Jamarco, you mentioned the vase scene that you kind of have here. Very creative. There's a lot of really creative stuff done here. In the movie, where he's trying to hold up the vase and he's still being hit while he's trying to do that. I think there's a lot of really great stuff like that here.
There's a lot of great comedy like that, yeah. And I gotta shout out Jun Tao, just one of the coldest villains of all time.
Oh, Tom goddamn Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson. Oh, he was cold blooded. Yeah, the villains are great. Wipe yourself off. You're bleeding. Come on, man. That's a great line. And just Like the threats feel imminent. You like when you hear like even the name Juntao, you're like, oh shit, who's that guy?
Mm.
Like, and I mean, he brings up him and Chris Tucker have one of my favorite moments when they're on the phone, and probably my favorite line in the whole movie, or favorite line delivery. He goes, $50 million. We
Yeah.
think you just gold, just
and
golden
the
gold.
entire scene where Chris Tucker in front of the whole gang in the Chinese restaurant, that is still comedy gold because they're beating on him. He's like, fight like a man. He just get kicked in the face.
Which one of y'all?
Which one of y'all kicked me?
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, and Tom Wilkinson at that time, because wasn't he also the villain in Mission Impossible a little bit before this? Wasn't he? Also?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you needed
Yes,
a
he
British
was.
dude, you called Tom Wilkinson in the '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like one of the go-tos for villains in the '90s because he was in that. He was in no, he was in Shakespeare in Love. That was I think what the movie that came out that same year. And he was still had a steady career, but nothing in a project as big as this.
Yeah.
Still to this day.
And then he was also Carmine Falcone in Batman Begins. He was also there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and he was the priest in Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I think is a phenomenal movie.
Amen. Great film.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean this is a lot to really kind of really enjoy. Like I said, I mean this is good old classic racism. You can't do good racism like this anymore. In this,
He's black.
Hey,
and
we
he's
need-
Asian. How are they gonna make?
We need a fourth one, or we need a reboot ASAP. We
I'll
need
watch
to fix
Chris
Black and
and
Asian
Eddie.
relationships.
I'll watch.
We
Chris
need
Evans
to-
forever.
Yes, everybody just needs to sit down this month, watch Rush Hour, and heal the wounds between our two communities.
Black and Asian communities unite. We've had enough infighting. It's time for us.
To unite against the common enemy.
Wait, whoa, no, shut down. Allegedly. Like the real enemy.
yeah.
The guys who made the Ghost in the Shell movie.
We didn't land on Planet Rock. I'm sorry.
Maybe I don't. So, would you be interested to see if they do possibly a Rush Hour 4? Would you be interested to see that?
Yes.
I'd be very curious to see what they do with a Rush Hour 4. Because as much as I've liked some of the films in Jackie Chan's later career, stuff like The Foreigner, there is an element where he's just not as physical as he used to be. And even though he's very good in all three Rush Hour films, he's kind of never really been the strongest actor, at least when he's been speaking English. So I'd be very curious to see what they do with a Rush Hour 4. At the very least, I'd be curious.
You're gonna do like Baby Carter and Baby Lee. Like they have kids now.
Yeah. Did anyone ever
Give me-
see?
Give me Gerard Carmichael and Andrew Koji in a reboot of Rush Hour.
All right, who's directing it? Because Brett Ratner's irrelevant now.
Who cares? Anybody who's working out of 87 North.
Yeah.
There you go.
I wonder. What was I just gonna ask? There, it just lost my mind. Did anybody ever see the Rush Hour TV show that they did? That they were on. Like I think it was on CBS for like a season or something like that. Did anybody?
What year was that? What year was that coming out? Because I did not have cable for a long. I still don't.
Once at like a restaurant, I was like, nah.
It was in 2016 at this.
I caught like 3 seconds of it at a bar, and I said, change the channel, put the football game back on.
It came out.
I hate football.
So it came out in 2016. Only lasted a season, and it was Justin Hires and John Foe, who were.
Who?
I think I have seen this guy before in some other things. I think I have seen him before.
I thought I looked at the poster and I thought it was Harry Shum Jr.
So and Justin Hires, I think I've seen this guy before. And John Foe, he was in things like Tekken before. Was kind of a big thing he was in. Justin Hires, he was in Stomp the Yard is what I remember him from. That's what I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
So not as cool. Step up.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh.
So
So
yeah.
not as cool drumline.
So you,
Yeah, Stomp the Art is like breaking, but at HBCU.
and they were trying to do. I know they did like a Lethal Weapon show, so they were on a binge of doing like
Yeah.
TV shows, of buddy cop movies. Like they also,
There was a Training Day show.
yep.
Some of which are still on.
Yeah.
Um,
Lethal Weapon lasts for a minute.
yeah, it did last for. Then the guy who played
Yeah, they lasted
Murtaugh.
long enough for
That
like
was
one of the main
Damon
actors.
Wayans.
Me too. Yeah, they lasted long enough for one of the actors to get Me Too'd.
Oh, that's what happened to him. Oh, I thought he was just like an asshole on
Yeah.
set.
Yeah, the white dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
A little of column A, little of column.
then they got a Stifler.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I would have liked to watch that.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Damon Wayans and Sean William Scott. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give him a chance. I loved Goon.
And then I know they were trying to get a Beverly Hills Cop show on the air, and they were going to have Brandon T. Jackson.
Here.
Oh yeah, I remember
Oh
that.
yeah. Here's my response to that.
Yeah, in Beverly Hills Cops 4.
Yeah, and then like Brandon T. Jackson was on a string of playing the son of like other kind of big prominent black actors. Like he's on the road that Jesse T. Usher was on. Like Jesse T. Usher was like
he
the
was
son of
Jesse-
Will Smith
yeah,
and
he-
everybody.
Yeah, he was Jesse T. Usher before Jesse T.
Yeah.
Except Usher is actually kind of a better actor just off of The Boys.
Correct. He redeemed himself at Independence Day 2.
So yeah, so you
just
can't on a string of
just
that.
off of The Boys and Smile.
So what would be your guys' rating for Rush Hour here?
Fuck. Objectively, just for how it balances comedy and action, how you get really heartfelt, emotional stuff from both of your leads, and their chemistry, which is electrifying to watch. Even after I've rewatched this movie countless times, this is cinema. I love this movie.
Yes.
I will watch it every single time it is on.
Yep, this is cinema, guys. I would argue that it's the best buddy cop movie of all time. I would argue that. I know people born in the 70s like, believe the weapon. I understand that, but just the juxtaposition of Chris Tucker's comedy and Jackie Chan's martial arts blended together beautifully, perfectly. It's just a perfect synergy of a film. Like, you can't not have fun while you're watching this. If you're sitting there stone-faced watching Rush Hour, if you don't at least go, oh, man, at Jackie Chan, or you're not cracking up at what Chris Tucker said, you're dead inside.
You don't have a soul.
I don't want to talk to you if you don't like Rush Hour. It's cinema. I'm sorry. It's perfect. It's a perfect film.
Yeah. Would this count as a millennial movie, Rush Hour?
Yeah, I mean, because we grew up watching it. Yeah, it came out in '98.
It came out in 98, so it would have been on televisions by like the early 2000s. So yeah, this is a bona fide millennial classic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So many classic lines from this movie. Absolutely. That you could just always kind of think of there. Again, we bring up that bar scene. I love the scene where he kind of comes in, starts talking to Clifton Powell. And he says, "Where the girl? What girl? The little girl? What little girl? The little Chinese girl? I don't know about no little Chinese girl." Like that is pretty good. And
No, one part that gets me is when they're like, it's the same thing. It's the same scene where it's like, hey, there's a dude selling moms. You know his name? Yeah, I don't know his name. It's like, damn, don't nobody know his name.
And like I said, the $50 million line when he's on the phone with him, that's really great. And also this movie I think has all three of the movies have some of the best bloopers in all of cinema. Like if you go and watch the bloopers, sometimes I'll put the bloopers on just to laugh. I mean, because it is really great. I love
Damn. He ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
and I think this is one of the bloopers. It's like the second movie they show, because you can see a whole compilation. And my favorite one is the one where he's on the plane and he's trying to say gefilte fish, and he cannot, like Krista cannot say that for the life of him.
What? Gefilte fish.
And
I love the bit. I know we're just going off on a blooper run, but even in the second movie, he keeps calling Lee Jackie.
Oh yeah,
Jackie, wouldn't we? Yeah,
Kick the door, Jackie!
Jackie,
Kick the door, Jackie!
Don Cheadle. His name is Lee. God damn it!
I think I got that one right here. I think let me see if I can find that one because I did because Don Cheadle he was in the second one there.
Kung Fu Kenny.
Oh yeah, Kung Fu Kenny there. Yeah, let me see. Oh yeah, here it is right here. Let me see. I think I got it right
I
here.
need to rewatch the second one tonight.
Jackie,
Oh, please do.
Okay, Chris Tucker.
Jackie, kick it.
Jackie again?
We'd love to see that. We would love to see that, Jackie. Jackie, we'd like to see that. We'd like to see that. Now, Jackie, we would love to see that. Wouldn't we love to see that?
His name is Lee, goddammit.
Lee, we would love to see that.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, he just keep calling him, yeah, Jackie, and then, he said Don Cheadle there. Yeah, that, I mean, yeah, the blooper reel is also very hilarious too. It makes me, yeah, I got to see the second one. It makes me want to do the second one and watch the second one
Please
because,
do. After I rewatched it not long ago,
We gotta do this.
I was like, I'm just gonna put on the second one.
yeah,
Yeah. What do you think, chat? Should we cover the second? Should we cover the second Rush Hour?
yeah. And then I'm looking through the blooper. I forgot that Jeremy Piven, he was in the second one, and they do like a stereotypical again.
Yeah, it's a very funny bit.
Super stereotypical gay guy with him.
Yeah, it was 2000s.
And then you see Chris Tucker just
But
burst out.
you also get Rosalind Sanchez in lingerie.
Oh.
So that kind of in my mind that kind of evens everything out.
And at Shang-Zi, I hope I'm saying it right.
Zhang Ji.
Shang-Zi, yeah.
Yeah, Zhang Ji.
I
Yeah,
don't know her from Crouching Tiger. She was the baddie in Rush Hour 2.
yeah, very fun.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The Grandmaster, the Godzilla movies.
Yes, Asian legend. Yeah, she's one of the goats. But that was my first exposure to her. I was like, oh god. I was like Chris Tucker in that movie. You can have something special, but you one crazy ass bitch.
And fun fact, she voiced the leader of the Foot Clan in the 2007 TMNT movie.
Oh,
Cinema.
nice.
Yeah.
Jamarco, did you give your rating for Rush Hour? Did you?
Oh yes, this is cinema.
This is cinema.
Thumbs up.
Well, yeah, I guess I agree. I got to go with everybody. Yeah. Somebody says I can't imagine anyone else as Carter, like Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy were considered. Also, Chappelle, Will Smith, and Tupac was also considered.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, slow down. Can you repeat those last
Well,
three?
chill.
It's
Dave Chappelle, Will Smith, and Tupac were all considered for Carter.
Okay.
interesting. Yeah,
It'd be a different take.
Yeah, childish Brandino 27 said, yeah, he said this, yeah, that Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy were considered. Also Chappelle, Will Smith, and Tupac. Of course you can see Will Smith because he went on and did Bad Boys. Chappelle, I can kind of see that, like him and Chris Tucker, I guess, because Chappelle, you start to see him in movies.
Different take. Oh, you got to work for this Asian nigga. Oh.
Hey, that's actually pretty good. That's a pretty good.
That's a good Chappelle.
Yeah. You have that. Tupac. He's got the. I mean, Tupac was a very good actor. He's got the charm. He's got the. But
very intense. I couldn't see him being funny.
I couldn't see it in a comedy, but if they wanted to, if like a version of this was just done as a straight action movie, then I could maybe see it.
Probably. But Will Smith would just be like, he'd be Bad Boys. He'd be like, woo! Wow!
Yeah.
Yeah! Wow! We are.
Please let me smash Jada. Please let me smash Jada. I mean.
So yeah.
Different take now.
Yeah. So, that was Rush Hour.